So when Conor says that he wants to be on the card at the White House, he's won one fight in 7 years. He wants to be on that card. Do you want him on that card?
Yeah. We'll see how this thing plays out. I'll start making this card in February. If it all plays out that way, Conor could be on the card.
You would still take him.
Yeah.
But you still respect him that much.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of trouble, man. Now when he was on, he made a lot of money. He's great. I get it.
This isn't tennis. This is the fight business.
It's not golf. It's not tennis. But can he still do what you need him to do or want him to do?
We're going to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Dana White.
Conor says he's coming back. He wants to fight on this White House card. We're going to be on the fucking south lawn of the White House. The fighters are going to walk out of the Oval Office.
Cards now. Does Conor McGregor want to be a part of that?
I'm on it.
You're on it?
I'm on it. Well,
Who are you fighting?
I am. This is me. Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler and myself have done the show, The Ultimate Fighter. We've had a good back and forth. He's a good, tough guy. And, the Mac is excited to get back for sure.
After months of speculation and Dana White confirming Conor McGregor's involvement in the White House fight, the Notorious One sends a message to shock everyone and officially confirms his fight at the White House with Michael Chandler. The Irish superstar has finally broken his silence, naming his opponent for what could be the biggest UFC event in history. Stay with us as we break down this massive announcement and what it means for the sport.
Conor McGregor is going to be the headliner of the White House event, which is next year. Now, I realize that we're living in fantasy land. I do get that. But we're still there. Let's just have the conversation. So it doesn't really matter that it's the White House, and it doesn't even really matter that it's next year. Let's just take Conor McGregor. He's going to fight. Who are you going to match him up with? And you got to understand, for anybody else, it does matter. But it doesn't matter for Conor.
Let's get straight to the bombshell announcement that has the MMA world buzzing tonight. During an appearance on Fox and Friends, Conor McGregor didn't just hint at his return. He made it crystal clear who he'll be facing at the UFC's historic White House event in 2026. McGregor, quote, "The Mac is excited to get back for sure. I'm on the White House card. This is me. I'm fighting Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler and myself have done the show The Ultimate Fighter. We've had a good back and forth. He's a good, tough guy."
Cards now. Does Conor McGregor want to be a part of that?
I'm on it.
You're on it.
I'm on it. Well,
Who are you fighting?
I am. This is me. Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler and myself have done the show, The Ultimate Fighter. We've had a good back and forth. He's a good, tough guy. And, the Mac is excited to get back for sure.
Those words from McGregor himself, officially announcing what fans have been waiting years to see, the long-awaited showdown with Michael Chandler. This announcement comes after a roller coaster of speculation, canceled fights, and political distractions. But now, it appears McGregor is laser-focused on returning to the octagon where he made his name. To understand the significance of this announcement, we need to look back at the history between these two fighters.
I'm on it. Well,
Who are you fighting?
I am. This is me. Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler and myself have done the show, The Ultimate Fighter. We've had a good back and forth. He's a good, tough guy. And, the Mac is excited to get back for sure.
Here to react is UFC fighter Michael Chandler, a good tough guy. Michael, how are you tonight? How big of an event is this one going to be, my friend? This is amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely amazing. Thank you for having me. Dana said it earlier on Brett's show. They are in the business of putting on one-of-one experiences that you will never be seen again. Fighting at the White House in June, July, whenever it is going to be absolutely spectacular on America's birthday, no less.
Do you expect
McGregor and Chandler served as opposing coaches on The Ultimate Fighter, creating natural rivalry and anticipation for their eventual meeting in the cage. The two were originally scheduled to headline UFC 303 in June 2024, but just 2 weeks before the event, disaster struck. McGregor suffered a broken toe in training, forcing the cancellation of what was set to be his return after a 3-year hiatus.
Let's go.
Remember, McGregor hasn't competed since July 2021, when he suffered that gruesome leg injury in his trilogy fight against Dustin Poirier. If this White House bout happens as planned, it will mark nearly a 5-year absence from competition. Michael Chandler wasn't about to stay quiet after McGregor's announcement. The veteran fighter responded with his own bold statement. Speaking on Fox News, Chandler not only accepted the challenge, but promised something spectacular. Chandler, quote, "Expect the unexpected. When you've got Dana White and Donald Trump's brain behind this, nothing is impossible for these gentlemen. Conor and I, we have some history. I'm the opponent that he wants. He's the opponent that I want. And it seems like that is a heck of a main event for the UFC White House."
Yeah, one thing is for sure, expect the unexpected. When you got Dana White and Donald Trump, you got their brains behind it, their promotional brains behind it. Man, expect the unexpected. Nothing is impossible for these gentlemen. It's going to be a one-of-one type of show. Obviously, as we heard Conor earlier, that is the fight to make. Conor and I, we have some history. We did The Ultimate Fighter 12 weeks on ESPN. I'm the opponent that he wants. He's the opponent that I want. And it seems like that's a heck of a main event for the UFC White House.
But Chandler didn't stop there. He went on to make an even bolder claim about the magnitude of this potential fight. Chandler, quote, "This has all the ingredients needed for the biggest fight in UFC history. You got McGregor and myself, two huge stars in the UFC. We've got history. There was a build-up to this fight."
I do. You know, this has all of the ingredients needed for the biggest fight in UFC history. You've got Conor McGregor and myself, two huge stars in the UFC. We've got history. There was a build-up to this fight, and now you're talking about 250 years of this great nation of ours, America's birthday, the celebration near July 4th at the White House. Like we said, this will never, ever be done before. Never did we ever think this would even be possible, and here we are talking about it. Every time I talk to somebody about it, whether they have heard about it, they are absolutely ecstatic about it, or they haven't heard about it and they think I'm lying to them, Laura. It's absolutely nuts. And you look at the renderings. Have you seen the renderings? It's absolutely amazing.
All right, well,
just days before McGregor's announcement, Chandler told MMA Fighting he was targeting exactly the scenario. Chandler, quote, "I think we're closer now than we ever have been. I've always said if you're a betting man, don't put money on him necessarily coming back, but now this changes things a lot. In my heart of hearts, I think I'm fighting Conor McGregor at the White House, and that sure does make a ton of sense for a multitude of reasons."
Super Bowl, in my honest opinion. So it doesn't get any bigger than this in this sport, especially. So I think we're closer now than we ever have been. I've always said if you're a betting man, don't put money on him necessarily coming back. But now this changes things a lot. In my heart of hearts, I think I'm fighting Conor McGregor at the White House, and that sure does make a ton of sense for a multitude of reasons.
Now, let's talk about the event itself and what UFC President Dana White has been saying. White has been in constant communication with both President Trump and McGregor about this historic event set to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. White, quote, "We'll build the greatest card of all time for the White House card. Conor and I have been talking consistently. Conor wants this fight badly, and when you get to a level Conor is at, you have to find things that motivate you. And the White House card definitely motivates him."
Let Conor win that one.
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and it's a great sentiment. Yeah, it's America's birthday. 250 years, and I would be the guy carrying the stars and bars, red, white, and blue, to the octagon in what we would assume would be the main event. So obviously that comes with a little bit of extra pressure, a lot of extra layers. I do feel like I love this country. I love the people of this country. I love.
However, White has maintained that official fight announcements won't come until February, which creates an interesting contradiction with McGregor's definitive statement. The event is planned for June 2026 on the White House lawn, marking what could be the most unique venue in UFC history. The implications of this fight extend far beyond just two fighters settling their differences.
But it doesn't matter for Conor. You could have Conor fight a mop if you have time to promote it, and he will sell out an arena. So Conor's just a unique guy. But you're making some very big concessions if you go in that direction. Concession number one, this event isn't as big as we told you it was going to be. Well, how do you get to that conclusion? Conor's the biggest star. Well, because Conor's not a world champion, and he's not going to be fighting a world champion.
While we wait for official confirmation from the UFC, one thing is certain. If this fight happens, it will be one of the most watched sporting events in history. We'll continue following this story and bring you updates as they develop. For now, MMA fans around the world have something incredible to look forward to. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back after this break with more of tonight's top stories.
I'd love him to have a very highly paid boxing match.
Last minute. Full stop. Last minute. Full stop.
UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall has just dropped a massive bombshell about a potential life-changing career move that could see him walk away from MMA for boxing's mega money fights. In an explosive revelation that's sending shockwaves through the MMA community, Aspinall's own father has publicly backed his son's move to boxing, declaring on the champion's YouTube channel, "I'd love him to have a very highly paid boxing match for the money."
I'd love him to have a very highly paid boxing match.
And now, for the first time, Tom Aspinall himself has spoken out about those jaw-dropping $100 million boxing paydays that could change everything. Stay with us as we break down this developing story that could reshape the heavyweight landscape forever. Let's start with the comments that started it all. Andy Aspinall, father and longtime trainer of the UFC heavyweight champion, didn't hold back when discussing his son's financial future.
Say that?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of stories. Recently, there was a funny one. So, USADA came to the gym to test me, and it was like a weird kind of setup. So, I was sat like on a bench. So I was in the changing rooms, just pissed in like a cup, like because you got to piss in a cup and then like put it in different. It's weird. They make you like separate the piss. So I'm sat on this bench, and it's like the only bench in the changing rooms. And the guy next to me on the bench, he's writing the forms out that you got to write. And Till's like getting changed over behind the guy. So the guy's like kind of facing me and Till's kind of getting changed behind him. And Till just completely naked, just kept walking over and asking him questions like over his shoulder, looking at, like he was just saying, "Oh, what is it you're writing there?" And he was completely naked, and the USADA guy had no idea that he was naked. And then he just kept coming over and asking questions. It was just funny, mate. It was just so funny.
Speaking directly on Tom's YouTube channel, Andy Aspinall made his position crystal clear. The money's there, and I don't see why somebody as talented as Tom shouldn't have a piece of that money when the boxers are getting 100 times more. More than 100 times more. But perhaps even more telling was his blunt assessment of UFC pay scales. The UFC ain't paying that type of money. If they would, it would be great and he could get the money, but I think these 1% of people who are very, very good should get paid.
If he's not bothered about the money, I'd love him to have a very highly paid boxing match for the money. You know, the money's there, and I don't see why somebody as talented as Tom shouldn't have a piece of that money when the boxers are getting 100 times more than 100 times more. The UFC isn't paying that type of money. If they would, it would be great and he could get the money. But I think these 1% of people who are very, very good should get paid. You know, Tom's money, some people say it's good compared to a soccer player, an American footballer who we've talked to when we've been in America. He's earning a tiny fraction of what they're earning. And he's one of the best in the world at doing what he does and not getting paid.
This isn't just a father looking out for his son. Andy Aspinall has been training Tom since he was a young boy and understands better than anyone the financial realities facing even the most elite MMA fighters. When your own father and trainer is publicly advocating for a sport switch, that sends a powerful message about where the real money lies in combat sports. The timing of these comments is particularly significant, coming just as boxing continues to break pay-per-view and purse records worldwide.
And get away out the area, away from it, because I couldn't be around my son. Because nobody's going to look after him like I'd look after him. And I think I'm all right at doing what I've done. The people that we're with are very good, the sparring partners and the training partners. The people that they bring in can always add a little bit to what we're doing.
Now, for the first time since his father's explosive comments, Tom Aspinall himself has addressed the elephant in the room. In a recent interview with Bloody Elbow, the heavyweight champion didn't shy away from discussing those eye-watering boxing paydays. If we could all get paid more, not that I'm getting bad wages from the UFC, if you're talking about $100 million, that's a lot of money, Aspinall stated. But notice how carefully he framed his response, acknowledging he's not complaining about UFC pay while simultaneously recognizing the massive financial gap.
And something else for me personally, like one of the reasons that I'm very successful with my style, and again, I don't want to give too much away, but because I'm very, very athletic for the size.
You are.
My balance is great. My agility is great. That is, as well as other things, but that is a big advantage that I've got in the heavyweight division.
What's particularly interesting is how Aspinall positioned this as bigger than just his personal gain. So I think it's good for everybody, not just me. It's good for everybody across combat sports. This suggests Aspinall sees boxing's mega money fights as rising tide that lifts all boats, potentially forcing MMA promotions to increase fighter pay to remain competitive. It's a diplomatic response, but one that clearly shows he's been thinking seriously about those 9-figure boxing opportunities.
Tom Aspinall, a guy you know very well. We spoke about him a little bit yesterday about how he's a great guy, but I wondered if you saw his last performance.
I did.
What did you think of it?
Magnificent. For me, he's the best heavyweight UFC fighter there is. Him and his father's come a long way, like me and Tyson's come a long way. And props to him. I've known him for a few years. They're beautiful people. He's a lovely young man, and he's got a great family. His dad's support is like mine, undeniable. You know, and he's just going to go from strength to strength. And you watch, when all this is over, we're all going to attend the big night when he fights for that big belt, and he's going to win it.
When you saw him train with you guys when he was a younger man, did he have the same sort of hand speed? Is that something you guys instilled in him? How have you seen his skills evolve over the years?
Well, a lot of people don't know he had one pro fight and he destroyed a man in the first round, you know, so Tom can fight. He's a good boxer as well, but, you know, the love of his life is what he does, and he's excelling in it, isn't he? You know, great performance, that fella he did that to. You know, nobody's done that to him before, and it was a quick finish, wasn't it? Spectacular.
It was great.
Well done, Tom.
Will you be there ringside when he fights for the title?
Absolutely.
Love it.
The question everyone's asking now, is this just wishful thinking, or is Tom Aspinall already laying the groundwork for a future boxing move? Despite the boxing speculation, Aspinall was quick to emphasize he's not abandoning the octagon anytime soon. When directly asked about a potential boxing move, his response was measured but revealing. "Not right now, to be honest," Aspinall told Bloody Elbow. "If I get to the stage where I've cleared out the division and I've got nowhere else to go, that's maybe something I'll look at." This timeline puts things in perspective. First up, Aspinall must defend his heavyweight title against Cyril Gane at UFC 321 on October 25th. It's his first official defense as undisputed champion, and he's made it clear he wants to establish his legacy in MMA first. But here's what's interesting. Aspinall is only 31 years old. If he successfully defends his title a few more times and truly does clear out the heavyweight division, he could still be in his early 30s when he makes the jump to boxing. That's prime time for those massive boxing paydays.
I'm not the best boxer in the world. I'm not the best grappler in the world. I'm not the best wrestler in the world. I've not got the best fitness in the world. I'm not the strongest guy in the world. But put it all together, and as a collective, I do that as good as anybody.
The UFC has to be watching this situation carefully. Losing their heavyweight champion to boxing would be a devastating blow to the promotion's credibility and star power.
From our perspective,
yeah,
that's what happened genuinely.
Oh, listen, I swear to God, I'm the agent. And I was asking a journalist from even Arena when I told him, talk with Enter, talk with Dana. Never they has mentioned your name or any fan before Manchester. That's the first time July.
But you know, but you have to understand, for us, they did mention Cyril's name before. Maybe not to you, but to us.
Well, no. Mention is like, do you want to fight him? They never even mentioned to me, I swear. Like, right. I can talk with any one of them.
I believe it.
So Cyril was like, this is, I don't understand, because this
guy
looks so good with me.
I'm only saying
now I don't understand what's
but from my perspective, it's the truth. I'm never going to start making up some lies. But from our perspective, we got offered it before Manchester, and then again in Manchester. And that's what I know. Cyril's a good guy. I wouldn't say it for no reason. Yeah. We're here to fight, man. We're going to fight, and it's going to be good.
You're either fighting John Jones or the next time you fight it's for undisputed against someone else.
That is correct.
Did you think that Alex Pereira losing to Magomed Ankalaev helped your case?
Yes. I would never celebrate anyone else who lost. That just really isn't my style, but it definitely helped.
Tom Aspinall has just sent a massive message that's reverberating through every corner of mixed martial arts. The UFC heavyweight champion has declared, "I won't quit UFC for boxing." And trust me, this statement is causing absolute chaos in the fight world. Tom Aspinall's bombshell announcement that shuts down boxing rumors once and for all, plus exclusive details from his candid interview that reveals the real story behind the John Jones controversy, his upcoming title defense, and why he's choosing UFC loyalty over boxing millions.
I'd love him to have a very highly paid boxing match.
Stay tuned, this gets explosive. Let's dive straight into the headline that's got everyone talking. While UFC superstars like Francis Ngannou, Conor McGregor, and Nate Diaz have all chased boxing paychecks, Tom Aspinall is taking a completely different path. In an exclusive statement, the British heavyweight champion made it crystal clear, "I won't leave UFC for boxing." But here's where it gets interesting. These rumors weren't just speculation, they were actually coming from his own camp. According to Aspinall himself, it was his father and head coach Andy Aspinall who was floating the boxing idea to the media, but Tom quickly shut that down, saying, quote, "That's my dad talking. I have no interest in joining boxing, and I don't want to leave the UFC anytime soon."
We'll try and balance the week out with a bit of everything. Bit of wrestling, bit of jiu-jitsu, bit of boxing.
If Tom's making mistakes, do you bring it up there and then, or do you
All
say
the time.
it afterwards?
No.
No.
Every day I'm on him.
Is that the best
Not
way for
on
someone?
him.
Is that the best way for someone to learn though, to stop them and then say, right, this is what we're trying to do? Or
They're all good here. Stan's just learning grappling, so break it down a bit more for Stan. But everybody else is always just a bit more than they already know. If I can do that.
This is huge news because it shows Aspinall's unwavering commitment to MMA at a time when boxing offers are reaching astronomical figures. His loyalty to the UFC, paired with his elite performances, is truly a breath of fresh air in a landscape increasingly dominated by spectacle over substance. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the John Jones situation that led to Aspinall becoming champion, and his brutally honest take on it.
John Jones, undisputed, disputed, interim, unification bout. It happened over the weekend. Dana White says he's retired. You were the undisputed champion. How are you feeling a few days after?
I mean, to be honest, I would have rather fought for it, of course. I did defend the interim, though, which is a weird thing as well. To be honest, I always saw myself as a champion anyway. I think the whole John Jones thing was a bit weird. I think everybody can see that was a bit of a strange situation. But luckily now that is in the past and we can move on, which is good.
Here's what really happened. John Jones, widely considered the GOAT of MMA, dominated his way to the heavyweight title by destroying Cyril Gane and Stipe Miocic. But when Tom Aspinall emerged as the obvious next challenger, Jones wanted no part of it.
Should we get to this then? The big fight with John Jones. Like, they don't come bigger.
I remember I was in Vegas. We took this opportunity to be in Vegas to talk about my future with the matchmaker. They said, I don't know exactly what's happening. It's John Jones, Francis. And we said, okay, if you mean we are here. He said, yeah, but if you are here, it's this date. Don't have too much time to prepare us. We started directly the camp. For 1 month and a half, we did very well. For the ground game, for the defense. Not going to be better than John Jones in 5 years. He was confident, he was comfortable, and boom, he was a bad man. I remember staying in the cage like Lopez came out directly to catch me here. It's like that. What do you want me to do? We're going to go back to the gym. Let's go.
Jones dismissed Aspinall, saying, "Tom hasn't done anything impressive in my eyes. I don't feel that he deserves a shot. Remember, this is about a fighter who has finished every UFC opponent in less than 2 rounds." Then came the money demand. Jones asked for $30 million, what he called Deontay Wilder money, to fight Aspinall. Dana White initially said, no chance, but then actually found the money. And here's the kicker. Jones still refused and decided to retire instead.
If you defeat him, will you defend your belt against Aspinall, who has the interim title?
More than likely not. I feel like Tom Aspinall just hasn't proven anything. He hasn't done anything. If there were to be a fight of a guy that's still on our UFC roster, it would be Alex Pereira. And I think that fight would go much farther on my legacy than a young man who's cool today and maybe gone tomorrow. I've been gambling for way too long to just take random fights.
Aspinall's response to this whole situation, pure gold. He said, "I'd fight my own mother for $30 million. John is clearly in a financial situation where he can say no to that kind of money. At this point, I don't care about him anymore. He's permanently in my rearview mirror." That's the confidence of a true champion right there.
I will leave you with this. At the weigh-ins for the Dirty Boxing event this past Friday, the one in Miami, Jon Jones now, it has been announced as a part owner. There was a bit of a chant in attendance. You know we love the Tommy Aspinall chant. Here's John reacting to a chant at the weigh-ins. You're on his mind there, Tommy. You see that? You're on his mind.
He looks a bit uncomfortable there. He looks a bit awkward.
You know what? He's right. You are an asshole, Tom. You are an asshole for that response.
I'm just being. I mean, everyone's an asshole sometimes, especially me. So I don't take offense to it. But yeah, he did look a bit uncomfortable to me. He looks a bit awkward.
Oh God.
Behind the tough exterior, Tom Aspinall has shown incredible vulnerability and emotion throughout his journey, and these moments reveal the heart of a true fighter. There's a viral video from a few years back where Aspinall breaks down in tears after winning a $50,000 bonus. When asked about it, his response was incredibly touching. "I knew that if I won a bonus, I could buy a house. I have 3 children and a wife, and buying us all a house has been my goal for a long time."
You got performance of the night.
Oh, did? Yippee! Yes. Did I really? Oh.
These moments show us that behind the devastating knockout power and championship belt, Tom Aspinall is a family man who genuinely cares about the people around him. It's this combination of killer instinct and human compassion that makes him such a compelling champion. All roads now lead to UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi on October 26th, where Aspinall will make his first title defense against former interim champion Ciryl Gane. This fight has serious implications. Gane was demolished by Jon Jones in under 2 minutes back in 2023, which led some to question if Aspinall felt pressure to finish him even quicker. His response: "Absolutely not. Every fight is different, and this fight has been simmering for some time." The buildup got heated in Paris, where Aspinall was heavily booed by French fans supporting their hometown hero. But the British champion brushed it off. Just loads of French people screaming for Ciryl, which was to be expected. I ain't bothered. It's like a circus, isn't it? With Aspinall's incredible streak of first-round finishes and Gane's technical striking skills, this promises to be an absolute barn burner that could define the heavyweight division's future. Looking ahead, Tom Aspinall represents something special in the heavyweight division. At just 31 years old, he's already run through most of the top contenders, and veterans like Marcin Tybura, who felt Aspinall's power firsthand, believe he'll reign for a long time. Tybura recently stated, "I don't see anyone beating Tom Aspinall. I think Tom will stay on the throne for a while." What makes Aspinall different is his combination of devastating finishing ability, technical skill, and most importantly, his commitment to the sport. While others chase boxing money, he's focused on building a legacy in MMA. As the 3rd British UFC champion ever, joining Michael Bisping and Leon Edwards, Aspinall carries the hopes of an entire nation while representing the future of heavyweight mixed martial arts. So there you have it. Tom Aspinall's definitive statement that he's here to stay in the UFC, combined with his incredible journey from house-buying bonuses to heavyweight championship gold, his loyalty to MMA, his devastating skills, and his refusal to chase easy boxing money make him exactly the kind of champion the sport needs right now. October 26th in Abu Dhabi can't come soon enough. What do you think about Aspinall's decision to stay in the UFC? Do you believe he can defend his title against Cyril Gane? Drop your predictions in the comments below, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our breaking MMA news. And this has been MMA Breaking News. We'll see you next time for more exclusive coverage from inside the octagon.
Gun to my head, I would have said John Jones will beat him right now. Guess what? Tom has never been pushed into those championship rounds. Once he gets to those championship rounds, even now, say Cyril Gane pushes him 25 minutes. If he beats Cyril Gane, but he learns to go 25 minutes where that first time you feel that, yo, Tom hasn't gotten off the stool for a third round.
We saw that Francis Ngannou, Stipe.
Exactly. Francis, when he fought Stipe and he went to try to knock him out, by the middle of the fight, Francis looking like he saw a ghost. You needed to fight Tom now when he doesn't have that experience,
where he's,
especially as John Jones.
People don't understand how effective,
it's
exhausting that is when you come to thump.
You want to fight, but I'm just grabbing you.
So I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall. If I failed to fight Stipe, I would be ducking Stipe because we contractually have been signed up to fight over a year ago. This is Stipe's position. The Tom narrative came out of nowhere. He won a belt, and now suddenly I'm ducking him. I've never had negotiations to even fight him, if this makes sense. So the fans are just ignoring it. They're ignoring all logic, and they just have finally found someone that they think can compete with me, and everyone wants to see it now.
Daniel Cormier has just sent a clear warning message to Tom Aspinall about John Jones. And trust me, you're going to want to hear every word of this breakdown. We're also diving into Jones's surprising announcement about re-entering the testing pool and what this could mean for a potential White House fight. So buckle up, because this story has more twists than a John Jones spinning elbow. Let's get into it. All right, let's cut straight to the chase. Daniel Cormier just dropped a bombshell on his Pound for Pound podcast, and it's not what you'd expect from someone who's been pushing for John Jones to fight Tom Aspinall.
What do you think about DC saying he would have already fought Tom?
I don't think much about it, but I really do want to fight Tom Aspinall. I just want to meet him here at Dirty Boxing.
So he has to come to a Dirty Boxing event for him to get the fight?
No, we'll fight here at Dirty Boxing.
You'll fight at Dirty Boxing. I like that. All right, John.
Despite being one of the loudest voices calling for Jones to stop ducking Aspinall, Cormier just admitted something that might shock you. He actually believes Jones would have beaten the interim champion. Here's the exact quote that's got everyone talking. Gun to my head, I would have said John beats Aspinall right now.
Since the fight will never happen, gun to my head, I would have said John Jones will beat him right now. I would have said he'll probably beat him right now, because guess why? Tom has never been pushed into those championship rounds. But if Tom gets to those once he gets to those championship rounds, even now, say Cyril Gane pushes him 25 minutes, and if he beats Cyril Gane, but he learns to go 25 minutes where that first time you feel that, I got to get up off that stool after the third round. Yo, Tom hasn't gotten off the stool for a third round. You needed to fight Tom now when he doesn't have that experience, especially as John Jones.
Now this is huge coming from DC, a man who has every reason to root against John Jones. But Cormier isn't letting personal feelings cloud his analysis, and his reasoning is absolutely fascinating. The key point, championship rounds. Cormier believes Aspinall's biggest weakness is his lack of experience in those grueling championship rounds, rounds 4 and 5 that separate the good from the great.
The feeling that I will miss the most, and it's one of the scariest feelings, is being sat in that arena and you're getting your hands wrapped and you can hear the roar of the crowd like it's shaking the walls, and you are scared to get in there. And you know that somewhere else in that arena, there's another guy in here. There's somebody else getting their hands wrapped as well, going through the same thing as me. And we don't know each other. And you guys are just going to meet in the middle in front of millions of people and just fight. And one of us is probably going to be separated from our consciousness. That's what I look forward to. What replaces 25,000 people screaming in it?
Think about it. Tom Aspinall has never been pushed past the second round in his UFC career. He's a finishing machine, absolutely devastating in the first 2 rounds. But what happens when he can't get the finish? What happens when he has to dig deep and find that championship heart? Cormier painted a vivid picture. That first time you feel that gasp for air. I've got to get up off that stool after the 3rd round. Tom hasn't got off the stool for a 3rd round.
Tom has never been pushed into those championship rounds. But if Tom gets to those once he gets to those championship rounds, even now, say Cyril Gane pushes him 25 minutes, and if he beats Cyril Gane, but he learns to go 25 minutes where that first time you feel that, I got to get up off that stool after the 3rd round. Yo, Tom hasn't gotten off the stool for a 3rd round.
When we saw that Francis Ngannou, Stipe.
Exactly. That's the comp. Francis when he fought Stipe and he went to try to knock him out, by the middle of the fight, Francis looking like he saw a ghost.
Right.
Francis like breathing out of his mouth and nose. How you breathe out of your mouth and nose at the same time? Francis doesn't manage to create a whole different way of breathing. And I love Francis.
Hey, don't talk about my brother like that.
Come on.
Yeah.
We talked about it. He laughed at it himself. Francis breathing out of his nose and mouth at the same time. It's like, shit, I'm exhausted.
This is experience you simply cannot replicate in training, folks. And DC used Francis Ngannou as a perfect example. Remember when Francis fought Stipe Miocic the first time? By the middle of the fight, Ngannou was breathing heavy, looking lost.